Rise, Barak. This is the day.
The power they trusted most had begun to betray them.
Hold the line! Do not retreat!
Rise, Barak. This is the day the Lord has given Sisera into your hand.
Not chariots, not iron. Faith was about to awaken Israel.
For Israel! For the Lord!
That day, the river itself became an instrument of judgment.
But before that day of victory, Israel had endured 20 years of suffering.
After Ehud died, the people of Israel again did evil in the sight of the Lord. When a people drift from righteousness, even the earth feels silent. And the Lord gave them into the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan.
Jabin ruled from Hazor, and under his power Israel suffered. His commander was a man named Sisera.
900 iron chariots stood behind his cruelty.
Children grew up to the sound of fear.
Their harvest no longer belonged to them.
Oppression does not only crush the body, it tries to crush hope.
The roads that once carried songs became silent.
For 20 years, Israel suffered, until they finally cried out to the Lord.
Lord, deliver us.
And mercy had not left them. In the darkness of that era, God raised up a woman.
Her name was Deborah, prophetess and judge of Israel. She carried no throne, no armor, no iron chariots. Under the shade of one tree, the wisdom of God became shelter for his people. My family has nothing left. The Lord sees the suffering of his people.
Deborah judged not by fear, but by reverence for God.
Justice must not bend before fear.
While men trembled before iron chariots, God placed courage in the heart of a woman.
But the day of quiet judgments was about to become the day of national deliverance.
God speaks in quiet places, and Deborah understood that the hour had come.
Go to Kadesh. Bring Barak, son of Abinoam.
From beneath one palm tree, a summons went out that would change the history of Israel. A single call was crossing the hills toward Kadesh. In Kadesh lived a people worn thin by oppression, and among them a warrior named Barak. He was strong, yet he knew how deeply fear had entered the heart of Israel. Israel's weapons were simple. Their enemy trusted in iron.
Deborah the prophetess calls for you.
He knew this was no ordinary message.
Barak went to Deborah, and Israel stood at the edge of fear and faith. Beneath the palm tree met two very different servants of God, a prophetess and a hesitant warrior.
Has not the Lord, the God of Israel, commanded you? Go, gather 10,000 men from Naphtali and Zebulun, and lead them to Mount Tabor.
The command was simple to hear, but impossible to human eyes.
The Lord will draw Sisera to the Kishon River, with his chariots and his army. And he will give him into your hand. If you go with me,
I will go, but if you do not go with me, I will not go.
Deborah did not mock his fear, but she would not allow fear to rule Israel's future. I will surely go with you. But the honor will not be yours, for the Lord will sell Sisera into the hand of a woman.
From that moment, Deborah no longer remained only beneath the palm. She stepped into history to awaken a nation.
Together they traveled toward Kadesh, where the call would go out to Naphtali and Zebulun.
The time has come. Gather the men of Naphtali and Zebulun.
Against Sisera? Against the iron chariots?
Not by iron, not by pride. The Lord will fight for his people.
Courage did not rise all at once. It began with small steps from people willing to trust. The whole people began to stir, as if hope were returning to their hands.
Come back with freedom.
Barak no longer stood alone inside his fear. He stood among people learning to hope.
Deborah became the spiritual flame in the camp of Israel.
From Naphtali and Zebulun, 10,000 men gathered. They did not look like an empire. They looked like a people pushed to the edge.
Deborah had told Barak to lead them up Mount Tabor. Every step up the mountain was a step away from old fear.
But below them, the machine of Sisera's war was waking. Barak has gone up to Mount Tabor.
Then we will crush them before they come down. Sisera called out all his chariots, from Harosheth of the nations to the Kishon River.
He believed power live in iron.
But he did not know the battlefield he trusted would become the place of judgment.
The plain shook beneath the weight of chariots.
On the mountain, many hearts began to tremble.
They are many.
But the Lord is greater.
Some battles do not begin with swords, but with a change in the wind.
And then heaven began to speak.
moving!
The Kishon, once small and overlooked, began to receive strength from the sky.
What people overlook, God can use as a weapon.
This is the day.
The hour of hesitation was over.
Forward!
10,000 men ran down, not because they had no fear, but because they trusted the word of the Lord more than the sound of iron wheels.
Faith does not remain on the mountain. Faith steps into the valley.
Chariots forward!
But the rain had turned the plain into a trap. The strength of Sisera began to lose control.
Drive them forward!
Iron could not stand against the unseen hand of God.
Do not fear!
The Lord threw Sisera, his chariots, and all his army into confusion before Barak.
The victory began not with Barak's sword, but with the word of the Lord that Deborah believed and proclaimed.
That day, those who had bowed under fear learned to stand again. The pride of the oppressor dissolved before the rising water. The Kishon swept away the strength of the enemy. The man who once made Israel tremble now began to tremble himself.
Retreat! After him!
But Deborah's prophecy still stood. The final honor would not belong to Barak.
His path led him away from the field of iron and toward the tent of a woman.
Far from the sound of iron chariots, there was a small camp of the Canaanites. There lived Jael, a woman ordinary in appearance, but steady in spirit.
That day, history came running toward her tent.
Hide me.
Please.
The commander who had trusted in chariots now depended on the shelter of a woman.
Give me water.
Jael did not give him water. She gave him milk, as if offering rest. Even arrogance becomes tired when God begins to judge it.
Stand at the entrance. If anyone asks, say no man is here.
But Jael did not belong to Sisera's fear.
She understood this was not merely a fugitive. This was the man who had filled Israel with terror. And the word spoken through Deborah began to come true. Judgment came quietly, without the noise of chariots.
Jael did not rejoice with cruelty. She stood under the heavy weight of a historic moment.
Have you seen Sisera?
Come, and I will show you the man you seek.
In that moment, Barak understood. The word of the Lord had not fallen to the ground.
The final honor had gone to a woman, exactly as Deborah had said.
That day, Sisera's power collapsed, and the chains over Israel began to break.
News of victory traveled from the mountain to the valleys, from the camp back to every home.
After 20 years of oppression, the people tasted freedom again. What once terrified them now lay silent in the mud.
The river that had judged pride now returned to peace.
The Lord has done this.
Then let Israel remember. That day, Deborah and Barak lifted a song of victory before the people.
The song was not only for celebration, it was a memory carved into the heart of Israel.
When leaders lead in Israel, when the people willingly offer themselves, bless the Lord.
The people once silenced by fear found their voice again.
Deliverance did not stay on the battlefield. It returned in bread, fields, homes, and children's laughter. Deborah returned to the place where the story had begun, beneath the palm.
From that day, the weak learned that God can use those the world overlooks. Courage can be passed on through a story, a gaze, and a faithful example.
The place that had thundered with chariots now held only the sound of wind.
The mercy of God can make life rise from the places where fear once ruled. Barak changed too. The man who once hesitated learned that faith must move forward. He was not remembered because he never needed encouragement, but because he finally obeyed.
Jael returned to ordinary life, but history had recorded her courage.
Some people never stand on a great stage, yet their decisions change the ending of a nation.
And the land began to rest from war.
Remember the Lord, and do not return to the chains he has broken. Deliverance is mercy. Remembering mercy is the responsibility of the delivered.
The story of Deborah is not only the story of an ancient battle.
It is the story of what happens when one faithful heart trusts God in a fearful generation.
God used Deborah to lead, Barak to fight, and Jael to complete his word.
Pride trusts in iron. Faith trusts in the one who rules sky, earth, wind, and water.
The lesson of Deborah is this: do not wait until fear disappears before you obey.
When darkness covers a people, God can still kindle hope through one faithful heart. Deborah, the fearless woman, reminded Israel that true victory begins when the heart returns to the Lord.